On average, you'll have to wait 31 days to see an OBGYN. And if you're dealing with an infection or outbreak, you know you need care fast. That's where Wisp comes in. Connect with a U.S. licensed provider online and pick up safe, effective treatment at your local pharmacy that same day. Plus, get birth control and more delivered in all 50 states. Take control with comprehensive sexual and reproductive care, all from your phone. Wisp. That's HelloWisp.com. The waiting room can wait.
Oh, we're back. It's been, I don't even know if we've had one this season. Yeah, we have it. This is the first RulaskaThoughts of the season.
Formally, yeah.
As usual now, Robert's back to being in the dark. RulaskaThoughts. You're the sniper girl. Joe is shaped like the whole world, and Robert rubs it in with all his brothers that he said, and he'll kill the sniper girl. Hey everyone, we are back. Yeah, 3 episodes in, and now we're finally here with RulaskaThoughts. Well, look, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But let's bring in
Blame Paramount.
Yeah, exactly. They're dropping 2 episodes. But people heard your voice last week. People liked it. Even though I did get a couple of messages that were like, why no Just Between Us Girls for episode 2?
Good point.
Yeah, I don't know why there wasn't. I think because in my brain, it was RulaskaThoughts.
It's all Paramount's fault.
Yeah. So since in my brain, it was RulaskaThoughts, I was like, oh, well, no, there's no Just Between Us Girls and RulaskaThoughts. But yeah, there should have been a Just Between Us Girls. We just did a Just Between Us Girls right now, literally, before the show. But, there was a lot of stuff we couldn't talk about on the air, so I couldn't have done it anyway. But speaking of, I got to make a list of all the things that I need to plug and talk about. We'll do little ones here and there, But I'm going to make it quick because we have a lot to talk about today. Get the app, Patreon. Now that Apple lost that lawsuit, I don't give a shit whether you use the app or whether you use the website. If you get the app, it's easy. You can do it right now. You're listening. Get the app, join as a free member. As I've said, there's hundreds of hours of content for free. You get access to most of our live shows for free. You get a notification when they happen. You get the show in your feed 2 weeks, the full thing. The full Drag Race recap 2 weeks after it comes out. Anybody can go get it, by the way. But I'm just saying it's already automatically there. And maybe, hey, you'll go, you know what? I'm liking this content. I'm going to upgrade. I want to hear Just Between Us Girls. I want to hear the bonus content of the tea. I want to hear all that stuff. I want to hear all the shows that are there. And you can get that over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. Once again, most of this content is also available on Apple Podcasts. If you're listening on your iPhone, just swipe up in the app. It's right there. You subscribe. It's like $6 a month, and you get the full recap. And Just Between Us Girls. Okay, there you go. Robert, how are you? How you been?
I'm great. The sun is shining. My skin is clear. My crops are watered. Summer's practically here.
That's what he talks about when he uses Manscaped. He's done that to me before. When he waters his crops, when he do you shave your poobs? Your poobs? Not what is this? Why can't I talk?
My poobs.
Do you shave your poobs? No. Do you shave your pubes? Because I know there's a new trend with Gen Z that they love a full bush. Now you're not Gen Z. You're borderline, but really lean into millennial.
I'm pretty deeply millennial culturally.
Even if you just looked at the years and you were on the cusp, just culturally you lean into millennial.
Well, my boyfriend does like to call me a muscle dolphin, so take from that what you will.
By the way, this might be the first time you said my boyfriend on the show.
Is it?
Not that you haven't been, but you usually just said first name, which is Nick, or before that, before you guys were official, just the guy I'm seeing or whatever. But wait, so I was lost because I heard you say my boyfriend. What is he saying?
He calls me a muscle dolphin.
What's the dolphin part?
I just don't really like body hair.
Oh, so you shave completely down there.
I don't shave completely, but every few weeks I will do a pretty heavy manscaping routine, yeah. But then I let it grow back naturally, and then once I start feeling scruffy, I decide, okay, I can spend another 45 minutes in the shower today.
Now, And now look, we're getting a little personal here. I mean, if you don't want to answer, don't answer.
We started with my poobs.
Yeah, it's true. Do you have a lot of ass hair and do you shave it?
No, fortunately, I'm, at least for me, I'm naturally relatively light on the hair front.
Oh, what's the thing that this is what I'm doing right when I move my index finger up and down?
Even though my camera's off, can you see me? Because I was just doing that.
Oh,
I'm doing it right now.
I can't see you.
What the hell?
That's weird.
It is weird.
Anyway, so I'm in the same boat, and I think much to everyone's chagrin, because I know body hair and chest hair is very much the rage right now in the gay community.
It is, and I say enjoy it. Have a good time.
Yeah, but I don't have it. And I do think it's sexy, by the way. But like, I'm pretty I'm showing Robert my chest right now. I'm pretty naturally just hairless.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that's the indigenous part of me.
We need to get you to the beach, Mama. Who said Latinas can't go to the beach?
Oh, girl. I am white as snow.
You should have auditioned for the role. Get Rachel Zegler off the screen. Poor diva.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say something. First of all, look, she's a dumb bitch.
Oh,
right?
I actually quite like her.
No. Here's what I'm saying. I don't mean dumb bitch. I'm just saying this is for everybody. Like this, who did I just see? Oh, they had Eurovision this past week.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, I don't know if you remember this because this is exactly my point, but the Dutch entry, which was doing really well, made it to the finals, was disqualified because they were rude to Israel.
How very Dutch of them.
Yeah.
To Israel. Then that makes sense.
Yeah, how weird that I think they iced them or something like that. Weird that Dutch people just do that. So
was Israel never mind.
So, oh yeah, you know what? You're right.
I won't take that joke to its logical
Jewish
conclusion.
people. Yeah. Because Anne Frank, that took place in Netherlands.
Oh, that's not what I was saying. Little Miss Trixie Mattel Snatch Game. I was making references to your personal life.
No, I was too. So anyway, I have some tea on that. We'll come back to this.
Oh God.
It's irrelevant tea. The tea's weeks old. It's clear it doesn't bother me. I just have tea.
Just
okay.
Deeply steeped tea.
It sure is. Anyway, I said at the time when I was watching this Eurovision, I'm like, what a dummy, right? Here's why. I'm trying to find why. I'm going to find a way to say this without taking a side on any issue, because here's the truth of the matter. I don't have a side on the issue, and don't fucking write to me. I don't give a shit on either side, right? In fact, if I get mean emails from either side, I'm going to know that I'm right. I'm not going to even say what it is. The point is, God, I'm being really careful. These people have been at war for centuries. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something. They're going to be at war for centuries. It's like that one Avatar episode.
The one about the cave?
Is it the one where the people they don't like each other because something
The Great
or other?
Divide?
Yeah. Is that considered the worst Avatar episode too?
Well, I think it was the one that they would constantly show on reruns because it didn't require prior knowledge of what had been happening, and it was very episodic.
Yeah,
so then kids would be like, enough of this goddamn episode.
Yeah.
Anyways.
In the old days, I don't know if the WGA still has this rule. You can always we're going really down a rabbit hole here.
You're the zigzag is wild.
Yeah, I don't know if this rule still exists in the WGA, but there always had to be an episode every season that was written by someone not on staff. Okay? Mm-hmm. So in every season, especially ones that had a linear arc, you would always know which one that was, because it would be, one of those episodes where it's not part of the timeline or the storyline or the main narrative. Yeah. I always remember in House of Cards, I think season 1, or I don't know why, because I remember I spotted it. I go, oh, this is the episode. And season 1 of House of Cards, randomly Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright Penn to his alma mater.
I don't remember that episode. Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a million years though since I've
there's
watched
an episode
it.
where it's random. The storyline
was it a
stops.
bottle episode? Is that what they called it?
Is that what they're called? Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe. I might be getting the term slightly mixed
And that's
up,
the one that the non-staff member writes because it's not going to affect the whole thing. Anyway, going back to the Great Divide is, so, Mama, like, I could see if it was an acute problem that was happening and you want to take a stance because you're celebrity and you're getting, the attention out would be worth it. But, Mama, don't get involved in this. It's like, reminds me, I found like I'm the guy from The Princess Bride, like, you don't get in a land war in Asia or whatever. You don't get involved because here's the deal. Those people are still fighting. Okay. And they're still killing each other. And where are you? Where are you
at
now?
home?
At home. Same thing with this girl from Viva and In the Heights, and she was getting all these roles. She decides she's going to weigh in. Huh? The Scream actress, yes. She's going to weigh in. Poof. Gone. Right? And I think Snow White is a perfect example. Okay? In this, Rachel Ziegler weighs in, and all of a sudden, she's the problem. She's the reason the movie didn't get made. No one talks about this horrible Wonder Woman who can't fucking act her way out of a paper box.
I feel like they do talk about how she can't act her way out of a paper bag all the time.
Wait, hold on. But is she getting the blame in Snow White?
Well, it depends on what side of criticism you're listening to.
True.
Because they do really get on Gal Gadot for being, or Gadot, or however it's pronounced, as a Zionist. But at the same time, and I will say this to Rachel Zegler's credit and discredit, every few years comes a new swath of online activists and progressives who think that they discovered the issues for the first time.
Yes.
And I remember when I had to realize at that young age myself, when adults told me, like, you guys think you discovered racism. And I'd be like, well, now we're discovering new elements of it. And that's what we're pushing forward. But ultimately, it's, the same wheel still cycling around. Mm-hmm. And what can you do? They think that they invented all of the social consciousness that they're trying to give everyone else by pressuring their celebrities to make a stand. Doing the best they can.
I do think is weird is this, one of the big stories that came out was that Mark Platt flew to New York from LA to go yell at Rachel Ziegler, which I'm like, girl, have you heard of a phone? Or Zoom,
Put the whole Platt family in a boat and send them down the river, girl. I've had enough.
I know. We're so done with them. I can't stand this Ben Platt. He's up there with this Todd, what's his name? Todrick Hall and all them.
We mustn't start. He sounds like the kind of bitch who would be surprised that all of his bills were due on the same day.
JP Brammer. I was marveling at my JP Brammer rant yesterday. Anyway, not yesterday, last week. So guys, we have a packed episode today. You wouldn't be able to tell from the 12 minutes where I just talked about the Israeli-Hamas conflict and Rachel Ziegler and Gal Gadot and what Robert thinks are called bottle episodes. But wait, it wouldn't be Rulaska Thoughts without that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are actually going to really talk about the episode, and we're kind of covering the episode and Meet the Queens for the next episode. We'll talk about it right here when we come back.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Fellas, Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Build professional skills this semester with Adobe Creative Cloud and create standout work both in and out of the classroom. Save big on professional creativity tools. Students get 65% off Adobe Creative Cloud, including Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, Acrobat Pro, and 20 plus creative apps. No matter what project you're working on, Adobe Creative Cloud apps can help you take it to the next level. Visit adobe.com/student to learn more.
We are back. Okay, before we get into the Meet the Queens or any of that stuff, we've just finished round 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. We have our 3 queens going to the semifinals. We have Bosco, Irene the Alien, and Aja going through, leaving behind Olivia Lux, Deja Sky, and Phoenix. Robert, any big takeaways, not just from you can talk about the most recent episode, but you're also free to talk about the first 3 episodes as a whole, as a unit?
I think it's interesting how we had a very accelerated pace through these 3 episodes in the sense that we got full story arcs, and it more or less has really done a lot of damage, I think, to the branding of Olivia Lux and Deja Sky. It's really just in the space of 3 episodes, and this is probably all we're going to see of them. So it is kind of shit that for those 2 at least, their All-Stars rejuvenation journey just ended in a really difficult, dark place, I think. There's something in the Drag Race fandom right now that is particularly venomous and vitriolic. I'm not sure what it is, but like people are popping off about Bob saying something about like Global All-Stars and versus the World seasons. They're popping off about a million things about season 17 Queen still. Something about Nymphia being rude to Delta. Like there's like a million dramatic things happening, and everyone's coming full octane, like screaming, like just so there's so much anger.
Do you think it's because as the show ages and becomes more and more irrelevant and whatnot, that essentially what you're left with is now you have a glut of drag queens who need to find a way to rise above all the other queens? So they're doing all kinds of attention grabbing things. But then you have really the only fans left who comment are probably the most ones who tend to lean into histrionics and screaming online and whatnot. Where I would just say even the most passionate fans have just turned into more casual fans. Still watching, but they're not going to go online.
That's true. I mean, also, the reality is Drag Race very much attracts the histrionic, over obnoxious type of person,
yes,
which is perfectly fine because hey, those are my girls. But I worry that the Drag Race fandom is whipping itself into a frenzy that, like I said, Deja and Olivia have been the victims of this round, and going into this next one, I know we'll talk about it later, but I fear for Tina Burner. I really do. Because knowing how vicious the fans were in these 3 episodes, I just can't see them calming down and taking the next 3 episodes with any more grace.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying that there's going to be a whipping boy, for lack of a better gender, for every unit that we have. And
yes.
You're predicting that Tina Burner will be that for this episode. Well, you can already tell in the preview she gets into it with Mistress Isabel Brooks.
Yeah. And so I guess it's what I mean is like my earlier statement that everything happened on an accelerated pace is that Drag Race always has a whipping boy every season. And now since we really have 3 mini seasons, we're seeing multiple redemptions and multiple destructions. And I guess that's the one flaw of this format that I'm seeing right now is that it kind of throws some of the girls to the wolves.
So what's funny is, this is a good segue into this. I also, let me tell you what I want to talk about so you can keep me on, because I'll forget. And I'm listening back later. I'm like, I never mentioned the big thing I want to talk about. One of the big things I talk about is my neglect to mention Phoenix, which I think speaks to a bigger problem, but I do want to talk about Phoenix. But, we got a few messages. I only got them on Patreon and Discord, so I don't know how the bigger fandom feels, and it wasn't that many. But people who were a little upset about my treatment of Deja Sky, they thought I was really hard on her and they did not find that funny or attractive. I hate her. And they even said, don't say the word you hate her. And I don't know her as a person, but here's the deal. Look, and maybe this is why I have more sympathy for someone like Phoenix or Nicole Page Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia, or any of these people who are, I will say honestly, pre-season 6 or 7, is that they were signing up for a tiny little drag show on Logo, and, it was just that thing, might as well have been, Say Yes to the Dress or something. But since season 7 or 8 or, all that, as the show's progressed, it's become quite the juggernaut. Okay. And season 7 is a good example because RuPaul had to come out there and say, like, basically leave Jasmine Masters alone because Jasmine Masters got a lot of hate.
Ugh,
and that
still don't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, actually, if you think about it. But that has just snowballed and escalated to a point where it's literal insanity. That if I'm not a drag queen, but if I were to ever go on Drag Race, I'm not even being funny. The first thing I would do, let's say Robert didn't go on Drag Race, I went on Drag Race. I'm not even joking. I would hand Robert the key to my socials and say, I'll give you some money, handle my socials. I'm not looking at that shit, for the next 6 months till the season's, maybe even 3 months after the season's over. And these queens don't do that, can't do that. How does this relate to Deja Sky? I'm going to tell you.
I'll tell you.
Deja Sky's from what? Season 14, 15? I don't know where she's from.
14.
13? 14.
14.
By this point, she's well aware of what she signed up for. So what I'm going to say is like, yes, I don't know Deja Sky. Maybe she's a perfectly lovely person. But she agreed to, she signed contracts to turn herself into a television character. And so what I'm talking about is this television character that's on TV. In order for this show to be, I'm talking about recap, somewhat good, we have to strike a balance between talking about the way the sausage is made, but also buying into the narrative. We don't buy, if the whole show is just like none of this is real, well then the show's going to be boring, right? So we have to buy into the narrative. And in the narrative, I hate Deja Sky. I don't know what her real fucking name is. I don't know, whatever it is. I'm sure she's a lovely person, But I hate Deja Sky. I don't like her. I think she's fucking annoying. She's a pick-me. And everyone's like, oh, but look at these videos. Robert's so quiet right now. Look at these videos of her doing that. I'm like, she's more annoying in the videos. Like she's coming for just Jada Essence Hall or Simone, one of the two. And then the other girl who used to be hot tells her to shut the fuck up. And then...
Tell me that's not funny as hell. I'm not even a Deja Sky hater, but when Alyssa Hunter just said, why are you talking? Why are you talking?
You see, I would have had this is why I say Deja Sky is not that talented, because I really would have had a comeback, to that. I would have just somehow come for Alyssa not looking like the same human being that walked in the fucking room.
We'll get to her on her bracket.
Huh?
We'll get to her on her bracket.
Yeah. And so she makes herself more like she shouldn't be coming for somebody. And then there's something else she did that was annoying on like the Roscoe's, right? And she does something annoying there. She's just, the persona she presents is obnoxious. Look, there are people who think my persona is obnoxious, but they don't know me. I know, exactly. They don't know what a wonderful, kind human being that everyone loves is. Granted, yes, anyone that I've had a close relationship then eventually ghosts me and never talks to me again. But that's their problem, not me. That's on them. What were you going to say, Robert?
Well, I've been quiet because I'm trying to not cut you off.
I thought you were being quiet because you were so like, oh, the Joe's going. I don't want to be part of this rant. Because someone threw Robert under the bus. And Robert, on Discord, I came and defended you because they came for me for the Deja Sky thing.
Well, the truth is, like I've said several times, I recognize that when I say that I pity someone, that's probably a deeper shade than calling someone a nasty, hateful, evil bitch. You know what I mean? Like, pitying someone is really the greatest insult you could ever give to someone. I guess I struggle with some of the girls this season so far, in the sense that, yes, I do come hard in judgments on their character personas, and of course in drag that blends with the person they are outside of the show. But then they go on social media and do a 10-minute long hyper-focused video on trying to analyze why people don't love me. Not me, but in this case, Deja Sky. And that's no longer the character persona that we're critiquing. Like, that's you. That's a accidental, over, self-reflective sort of thing that you need to do on your own time with your own friends, your own therapist that you pay, and don't give people more fuel for the fire, really. Same with Olivia. She keeps coming back with these really weak-ass reads on Twitter to her critics, and if you're going to be the divalicious diva and pretend that you're Electra Abundance and somehow above it all, then you need to be above it all. To stop proving that people's assertion that you're actually non-threatening and or not all that smart by continuing to go online and give weak-ass attempts at trying to be bitchy or a diva. It's just, stop proving your critics right by feeding into it. It's so frustrating to watch. And again, that's no longer the character persona on television. That's you, girl.
That's a good point, because now obviously it's not working. So now she's going the pity route and talking about how her dad passed away suddenly right before she went on the show. And the only person that knew was Aja, maybe? Yeah. But I'm like, oh, well, look, there are a lot of people who have tragic. There's somebody, I don't remember anything. Something tragic happened to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this just happened." I mean, look at this Lydia Collins. Like, I will say, like, I can't even imagine. Maybe Robert couldn't relate. I can't even imagine being where Lydia is less than 2 years after my brother just suddenly dies.
That was Jules.
Oh, that wasn't Lydia? Okay, no. Jules is even better example. I can't imagine being there. Like look, I imagine being fine, but I can't imagine now getting my drag together, doing I guess the best way to put it is like, there's a lot to doing drag, and how long do you wait after your brother suddenly passes away, who you love, and you're like, okay, I gotta put on fake padding and fake titties and go lip sync to I Am What I Am, for $50.
Lacage?
Yeah. So like, I bravo to her. And so like, that's just what we do. I don't know where that was going. Let's talk about Phoenix.
Yeah, let's. That'd be nice to get some words towards her.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. And it's funny, you just said saying you pity someone might be worse than saying you hate them. But even before we did recap and it just didn't come up, I felt very sorry for Phoenix. Because I don't think that there was ever a chance she would have moved forward. And, one of the things I edited out of the podcast was on recap. I said, not Phoenix experienced reverse racism at the table when she found out there were all these alliances that she wasn't a part of.
It crossed my mind too. Yeah. I'm like, these girls, every other word is about melanin.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Phoenix is standing there with no eyebrows. And I just felt really sorry for her, because I think at a certain point she realized, oh, I'm not part of this group, and I was never going to go forward. And I don't know, where do you fall in this? I mean, there's a part where you could say, well, she got 3 episodes that she didn't have before.
Ultimately, it's about establishing friendships, and I think that a lot of them, being newer season girls, had established ties in their tours or just being in the drag race sphere in the last few years together. So Phoenix is very much a couple degrees removed from that, as someone who really is more of a producer and isn't probably, before this, she wasn't going on drag race tours as far as I know. So even though, yes, there was an element of, okay, well, it's every person of color and then the white girls can fend for themselves.
Yeah.
Also, Phoenix just didn't have those pre-existing relationships that allowed her to foster an alliance that might have given her more points in the end.
But, I'm almost wondering if we've gotten to drag race to the point with All Stars where we need to put people, All Stars is a good example, in the right weight class. And what I mean is, but now I'm talking specifically of age, because, the rest of the queens except for Phoenix were on the younger side, which has its own perspective of drag. So that when Phoenix goes out there, and this is not a judgment on her drag, good or bad, because I actually thought her makeover look was quite good. But it was very old school drag still, even hearkening back to the episode she was on, with India. And what's so funny?
Hearkening back to the episode she was on.
So
just
then,
nasty.
So what I'm trying to say is, maybe I would like to see this same format. I like this format, but it's 6 girls from sort of the same era of drag. Maybe not the same seasons, but the same eras of drag. So in other words, Ginger, Nicole, Phoenix. Who else is on the old side? I'm sure there's 3 other ones.
That's it. Right?
Ginger, Nicole, Phoenix. I think you might be right. But you can find some other old ones, right? And put them in their own class so that they're getting to compete with people in the same perspective, the same drag perspective. Because it's simply not fair when the other girls are more, and I'm not saying cutting edge in that it's necessarily better, but it's just what is of the moment. There's nothing wrong with the past. Thank you.
No. I'm surprised that you loved Phoenix's makeover that much. Honestly, I thought it was a kind of a cop-out. Largely because she was not the one who said prison honey.
Nathan, I didn't remember that even being said. Who said it?
India Ferris said it.
Oh, and what does it mean?
My understanding is that in prison, everyone wears the same outfit.
Oh, there you go.
So.
Who walked in first, Phoenix or India?
I think, Phoenix had already been there. And then when India came in, everyone gasped. And then she nodded her head and said, prison honey.
What are the odds that they had the same fucking wig? The outfits were similar, but not the same. But that wig was almost like the same wig.
But that was every mid-30s near divorcee in the 2000s. You know what I mean? Like we all, I was, probably like, I was not at the club at the time, but I knew those girls going to the club. They were my tias, but still, it was such a look for the time.
Anyway, do you have any other big thoughts on Phoenix? Phoenix, I'm glad you were there. I'm glad I got to be reacquainted with you. I'm sorry you didn't go forward. It sucks to realize you were never going to go forward. But any goodbyes or thoughts there, Robert?
Having rewatched season 3 probably about 500 times, and like I said, if I ever get Alzheimer's and I'm in a home and you need me to get lucid, just put on season 2 or 3 and I'll crack the fuck up. Hello. I loved seeing the evolution and just like maturation of Phoenix. In season 3, she really was like just kind of not entitled, but definitely rougher around the edges and had a very harsh way of communicating, and you can see the motherly side of her come out, especially this episode, and I really enjoyed the person on screen.
All right, very good. Well, now we're going to go over to Meet the Queens for the next group. The Pink group is coming up. I'm going to tell you, I thought it would have been a good idea to have Blackstone do the introductions. I didn't do it because I got what he was going to say back, and it was so highly offensive, particularly to me.
And Mrs. Isabel Brooks.
Well, he did say that he thought I was Mr. Sissy Brooks.
That's expected.
Yeah.
He needs to get new material, girl.
He does. And Carrie Colby about how she's... I don't even want to get... It's so offensive about Carrie Colby. Lydia, oh my God. So offensive. And of course, why are we not surprised? He's a huge fan of Nicole Page Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia.
Who isn't?
Yeah. But everybody else got it. Once again, it looks like we're always having... No. Tina Burner's white. Tina Burner got it too.
Is that surprising?
All right, let's go down the list. First, we have Georges. She's the pocket-sized powerhouse from season 14, known for her killer lip syncs and high-energy performances. What she lacked in design challenges, she more than made up for with stage presence. And now she's back after a quick turnaround from All Stars 9 to prove she's more than just a dancing queen. Your thoughts here, Robert, on Georges?
This is the single most funny casting decision for me. Mm-hmm. Given that Georges was just on the nearly universally hated All-Stars 9 non-elimination format. And there were a couple of good moments, but really who has ever revisited that season to be able to tell you whether or not Georges was particularly good or bad, or I don't even remember. And I've usually remember everything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I do know that I always refer to her affectionately as Georgie. It's just like as a little cousin who, for some reason, just keeps winning. And she's going to say a lot of silly shit. For some reason, her Twitter has kind of taken a stranglehold on the fandom lately, and I'm glad for it. I'm glad for more Georges. I think purists of the Drag Race, canon, and why is she on All Stars again? No more repeat queens. I can understand why they feel the way that they do. I just don't share their opinion. I think that having Georges again is funny as hell, and I'm glad.
I agree with you. Like, I don't get this whole, you can't have them on again. Have them on, if they're good TV, have them on every fucking year. I don't give a shit. And honestly, and being honest, because usually I'm like, ha, ha, ha. I don't remember anything. But at this stage, if you remember she was on last year and it bothers you, I hate this phrase, but I don't want to say get a life. Go touch some grass. And I hate saying that, right? Like, who cares? She makes good TV. She's fun. I will say the only thing that bothers me about her is she does not need to have a colonoscopy, because I've pretty much been inside of her asshole how much she shows it online. I've seen.
You do love to talk about it too.
I've seen look. I would love to fuck this Georges. I'm not. Even though every year I feel she looks completely different. So I don't know if this year's Georges. If this year's model I like, I'll see. I haven't seen her, but. But we'll see. Anyway, Georges, her whole.
I wish she would emote more in her lip syncs. There's just
honestly, I'm being completely honest, because once again, sex work is real work. I have no judgment of it. If you're already showing your whole the way you're showing it, like, girl, you could be making so much fucking money on OF, like doing collabs and all this shit, and like they're making a lot of money, and she already has the built-in brand and following and everything like that. She could be rolling in fucking dough, and instead of having to, play in fucking, Killeen, Texas for 10 people.
Well, if she's not cast on All Stars 11, then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Carrie Colby, season 14's goddess of grace and glam. Carrie Colby made waves not only for her polished runway looks, but also for her role as a trans trailblazer and House of Colby representative. Her serene energy and heartfelt vulnerability earned her fan favorite status, and she's ready to bring even more realness this time around. Robert.
Carrie Colby. Oh, Christian's going to be so upset that I am not head over heels for her. I think that she is no doubt very gorgeous, very beautiful. She had a very lovely auntie presence on season 14. And somehow I feel that, is it pronounced buckle or buccal, whatever that fat removal is in the cheek that turns you into an Ariana Grande type of alien looking motherfucker?
I don't know how you say it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. now it feels like she's de-aged. So no longer is she seeming like an auntie. She's seeming like the hot girl on Instagram with 10 billion filters. And I guess that's always kind of been her brand. She's really beauty forward and that's it. And I think I don't know if I've ever explicitly said this on the show, but that's just not the kind of drag I care about. I don't care about, look at me, I'm beautiful. Look at me, I'm pretty. Look at me, I'm hot. Look at me, I'm famous on Instagram. Go tell people on Instagram where I'm not having to watch you. Instead, Carrie Colby will come and be stunning, and that's great, but that's not TV. That's not fun TV to me. That's not interesting. And it just combines with the fact that she loves conspiracy theories, like flat earth shit. And
she does?
Yes, because she grew up in a super Christian or Episcopalian, some kind of cult adjacent environment where she
just eventually had to... Episcopalians are not an extreme religion. They're just I
agree.
Catholic
I was doing a roulette of different Christian
some sort of fundamentalist evangelical Christian.
It was something. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely right. I don't remember what it is, but the point is that she had to deprogram herself and brainwash from what was more or less being brainwashed. And so now she takes the approach of, well, I can't believe anything's true. So therefore conspiracy theories, let's hear them out. And I guess that there is a modicum of truth to that, but she doesn't really display any kind of critical level of thought. So it's oh girl, you're just dumb and irresponsible because you have a platform and you're just spreading shit like that. And that, this is a massive, mess of a conversation, but also when she was trying to advocate that absolutely no children should be able to transition before they become adults.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah. But the flat earth shit, if she really is a flat earther, could be a remnant of her fundamentalist past. The super fundamentalist people do buy into flat earth shit because if you follow Genesis literally.
God. I didn't know you went to divinity school.
It doesn't say, girl, don't you know about my amateur biblical scholarship?
Oh my God, Father Joe.
I've talked about this on the show.
Why didn't they pick you in the conclave?
It
would have been so slay.
Yeah, no. Sort of my hobby right now is amateur biblical scholarship. But anyway, in Genesis, not that they specifically say the earth is flat, but the way it describes the earth being created would lend itself to a flat earther really buying into that. So, in in those days that the understanding they had was that there's basically there was basically a dome over the sky, and it was just separating water on top. So when rain happened, it was just sort of the holes opened up in the dome and let the water from on top in. I don't want to get too into it, but
we should.
I don't want to get into flat earth shit and stuff like that, but I could see it could be a remnant from her fundamentalist evangelical beliefs that she, of course, lends itself to a flat earth thing. Lydia B. Collins. A wild card from the most recent season 17, Lydia turned heads with her offbeat humor and chaotic charm. She may not have made it to the finale, but she left a big impression, and now she's back to show what she can do with a second chance and a bigger budget. Robert.
Tell me a single thing Lydia B. Collins said during all of season 17, which we just watched.
Nothing, but I will say this. And I realized she was doing them a solid, which might come back to pay off later, by filling in for Maddie Morphosis, who, for whatever reason, there's all these conspiracy theories, was cast and then left last minute. I do see a lot of potential in her, and I believe when she has more time to mature and grow, she will come back as a very, very, very talented queen and a force to be reckoned with.
I think that people give a lot of that wiggle room and or potential to alt queens, and that's why Lydia is so beloved. I personally don't see it. I don't think she's ever done anything offensive. I don't think she's ever done anything particularly bad. I don't think she's done anything unlikable. I don't dislike the girl at all. I just don't care. To me, from season 17, she's like towards the bottom of who I would have picked to move forward into an all-star season, quite honestly. I don't think adding extra black to your nostrils and therefore calling yourself a Tim Burton character makes for an interesting artistic perspective. I think it's derivative. I think it's reductive. I think it's whatever.
And I can say that I can completely agree with everything you say and still hold on to what I'm saying.
Yeah,
In that
I hold space for your thoughts as well.
I still see this germ of potential in her. And I base it only on the fact that in her lip sync, she's able, whether she was aware of it or not, to tap into, because I think for some reason, a lot of her lip syncs were like to older, maybe Gen X or millennial songs that shouldn't be in her wheelhouse. She was able to tap into the spirit of those songs without having really have it part of her internal soundtrack, so to speak.
I appreciate that.
And so, again, like I said, she's a queen that I want to see what she's doing in 5 to 10. I don't know if she's necessarily giving me what I need now, but I'd be really interested in 5 to 10 years. You know, one of the things we've been robbed from is I hear that Aquaria is doing interesting things, but we don't know, and she doesn't want to come back on the show.
She should bring her back for All Stars 11 too. We should throw winners into we should have 3 episodes with just winners. I don't know. Obviously, that would steamroll the final merge, but whatever.
I actually think, Aquaria was underestimated, sort of like scoffed at because she was Sharon's drag daughter. But then I feel like she proved herself. She was sort of like seen as initially as sort of a Carrie Colby, just beauty type, but I know you don't think her Snatch Game was all that, but
no, I actually love Melania Trump's Snatch Game. It's one of my favorites.
But she was good in the baby sketch too.
From the moment I see baby drag, I'm out.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Out. Oh, speaking of, I mean to talk about this in some show. There's this disturbing. I personally think this is disturbing. TikTok show or some show where it's this 30-year-old guy or 25, I think he's 25. A 25-year-old guy and a 7-year-old boy, and they interview people. And I find this show disturbing because the 7-year-old is way too precocious and like self-aware to the point where I'm like, is this like an AI robot? I know it's not a robot, it's a real human being. But like, there's no 7-year-old that should be thinking or talking like this. It's very strange. I don't get it.
They should also not be on the internet.
Yeah, or exploited. It's just very strange. I don't understand. Like, there's one right now where he's with Lin-Manuel Miranda. And he's interviewing Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I don't get it. All right.
Well, with Lydia, I went
ahead.
hard, but really all that to say that I'm just confounded by her presence here, but I do think it's an interesting proposition that, hey, she literally 2 days ago rolled off of season 17. Let's see what she can do in an all-star season. So I do wish her well. Yeah, I'm just not excited.
On short notice.
Yeah.
Next, we have Mistress Isabel Brooks, the big, bold diva from Houston. She dominated season 15 with her old school pageant polish, cutting reads, and confident leadership. She's as quick with a joke as she is with a comeback. And if drama's in the room, you can bet she's got front row seats. I'm not even joking. I should just steal this from my podcast bio. Except for the pageant polish. Mistress Isabel Brooks, Robert Mata.
I mean, that's a drag queen.
Yeah.
I don't live for the whole hand in front of your face giggle thing, but hopefully we don't have to see too much of it. Apart from that, I really have no qualms. I think that she's... But do they love it as much as when they open their mouth at the beginning and end of a runway?
That they don't know.
Why is that a thing? Or in promo shoots, just like, look at me with my mouth open.
Do you think because it elongates the face and so it makes it not as round?
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's see. I have a fat face. Here we go. So here's me just smiling. Ready? And then now here's with me with an elongated face. Here's me with an elongated face.
I'm sorry that no one else could see that. I think that the first one was nicer, but it did not have as much punchiness. Whereas the second one is like, please make fun of me. You know? It like you look like you're at the Ren Fair about to swallow a sword. And no, that's not innuendo. I don't know if it's frozen on that or not.
No, it wasn't. I was just doing that long. Let's see long before you said anything. Yeah, I'm excited to see her. I think she's going to make this. I think if she wasn't here, it'd be a very boring, no one has anything to say cast. I think you need her and Tina Burner to have, I think the fact that there's sparks already flying next episode is going to be very interesting.
Yeah. I hope also that the Mr. Isabel Brooks thing lately has been in a controlled environment on her own YouTube show. So I wonder if it might be a bit like how Trixie's sense of humor was lauded before All Stars 3, and then she tries to do her whole RuPaul Snatch Game, which I've come around and decided that it's pretty much one of the funniest things that happened that season. Actually,
but not intentionally.
A reference to, well, of course not. A reference to Trixie's RuPaul, like the twitching, it gets me.
All right, Nicole Paige Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia. And yes, she's going to say it every time. Nicole Paige Brooks returns after a blink and you missed it run in season 2. Over a decade later, she's here to show the new girls how it's done and reclaim her spot in Drag Race Legacy. Robert Mata, I know this is the one you've been most excited about.
I mean, this to me, I know that this word has fallen out of favor. I apologize in advance if it's offensive to anyone. This is a true crossdresser.
Mm-hmm.
This is old school, fun, ridiculousness, campiness, silliness, stupidity, irony, post-irony. It's what I came to Drag Race for.
Yeah.
In part. It's what I definitely appreciated once I was there, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl hasn't aged a day, which is impressive. Mm-hmm. And I'm just ready to see her. I don't know if she'll still have, white acrylic nails with French tips, or whether was it French acrylic nails with white tips? I don't know how nails work. It was a thing back then. Mm-hmm. I hope that they edit her laugh over everything like they did in season 2 Untucked, and then like they later did with Jay Jolie's laugh in season 5. I hope she says a lot of crazy buck wild shit that makes absolutely no sense. I hope she bites the pit crew's nipple and pulls really hard.
What?
Have you not seen that picture?
No.
Of her, like, God, I don't even know when it is. It looks like it was taken on a digital camera. Mm-hmm. But she, like, has this muscle guy who's probably a go-go dancer at the club she worked at, and she pinched his nipple with her teeth and then pulled, like, I kid you not, like 6 inches away.
No, I'm hurting. Hurt.
And then his face is exactly like that, in pain. And she looks crazed, ravenous. This is just ridiculous on every level. I love this girl.
That's why I need to hold that button when you were saying it.
I just know that I'm going to fall into fits of laughter when she opens her mouth, even if she doesn't even say anything. I'm looking forward to this a lot.
I saw season 2 when it first aired, didn't finish it after Tatiana was eliminated.
Oh, you missed 2 whole episodes?
Yeah, so I was mad. And I haven't watched season 2 since
took a
then.
stand.
Robert keeps promising we're going to recap it, but it's yet to materialize.
It's also aged horribly. Like,
oh, really?
In the I think actually Nicole Paige Brooks straight up in one of the first Untucks, they look at, was it Shangela or someone else, and they'll just they straight up use the T slur, which I know drag queens used at the time in that community, but it's just one of several. They were transvestigating before it became a meme on Twitter.
Yeah,
it's a crazy thing. Yeah.
So I have no opinion of her, if I'm being honest. I know about the meme. I know about everything. I don't know about the fucking nipple, but thank God. But I'm going to find all about her right now on the season. I haven't watched it in, 15 years. Tina Burner, season 13's camp queen with a love for primary colors and Broadway bravado. Tina Burner brought big performances, even bigger looks, and a polarizing edit. She's back to prove there's more to her than red, orange, and yellow, and maybe win over the fans who didn't get the joke the first time. Tina Burner, Robert.
What is the joke?
that she's always on flame colors, I guess. I don't know.
The on fire like the Hunger Games.
Girl,
It
AI
surely
wrote
is.
this, not me.
The thing with Tina Burner, I'm not going to pretend I was in the trenches defending her in season 13, but at least among my gaggle of gays, they despised her deeply. Mm-hmm. And I know that was also a lot of the chatter online as well. And I feel like I was at the time like trying to defend her old school perspective and style. And ultimately, like I said earlier, the Carrie Colby brand of I'm pretty, I'm an Instagram influencer, I don't give a fuck about. The drag that I most quickly respond to is sharp-tongued, acerbic hostess who is like capable of managing a room, beating people down, coming up with quick, witty responses, and just has overwhelmingly like charisma that you just enjoy it. That's an entertainer, you know? And I think Tina Burner has the reputation of one who can do that, but it hasn't been able to adapt into the show, and that's why no one's bought into it. Because all that we're seeing, unfortunately, her facial features are just not very well suited for drag, and she at least in season 13, she didn't have the makeup ability to hide that. Like, I don't know that we've seen worse eye makeup, quite honestly. Her eyes the hooded eyes are just a challenging thing to do, and she just never rose to that challenge. So people were against her because aesthetically she wasn't stacking up, and then she had a very arrogant, dismissive attitudes towards everyone else, and that's why I say I worry for Tina Burner this round, because the fandom is already blood's in the water. They're ready to bite, and Tina Burner is definitely going to be getting at least from my perspective, the brunt of that.
I was just thinking right now when you talk, like, I know I don't have a positive opinion of her. What season is she from? I can look.
13, God's favorite season.
That terrible season. I actually should go back to the archives and listen to our season 13 recap. I remember not having a positive impression of her. I remember not liking her, but I don't know to what degree. And I just have a memory of her being annoying.
Well, exactly. And I think if she's able to leave that Sydney shit at the door, maybe people will somehow warm to her. Not to
someone
pun
droppy
Tina
that they
Burner.
listen to some Sydney gays. To our Sydney gays or the real Sydney gays?
Girl, I scrolled all the way down to like, what was it, 2019 when you did it for the first time?
It's in a collection.
And, well, that's not how I found it.
Okay.
Call me a Luddite, I guess. And I made the very poor Jay Fisher-S decision to listen to it at the gym on leg day. So I'm out here doing squats, and then I hear about how Jay works in property, and that's why his rent's always due. And I'm dropping weights, girl. It was a mess. Thankfully, it was like 10 p.m. at night, so no one saw me fuck up, but a couple of old men just staring.
Yeah, it's quite a thing. But this is a good time to do a Patreon plug. Get the Patreon app, go to collections, go to Sydney Gays. They're all collected there. And just so you guys know, we did several seasons. Look, there's diminishing returns, especially after season 2 or 3. But there's some still highlights in those where we review the same season over and over and over again. So,
quite honestly, I don't think I've ever heard you and Lori have more fun on a podcast than that very first episode.
Oh, we've had other ones. Someone told me recently, and this is a plug, Carlo from Germany, has actually recommended my own show to me. He said, go listen to season 2, episode 5 of The Tea. He goes, that's one of the funniest things you guys ever did. He goes, you laughed really hard during it. So I don't know. I got to go listen to season 2, episode 5. Any more thoughts on Tina Burner, Robert?
This is not a Deja Sky. I feel bad for her. This is I'm worried for her. I'm worried for her safety.
For Tina Burner.
Yes. Because at least based on that preview, it looks like she's ready to rock and roll. And
which, look, in a way, I appreciate.
I definitely appreciate. Yeah. I'm going to be kicking my feet like a gleeful fucking kid on a Christmas morning.
And if she and Mistress, which neither one of them seems like this type to go and apologize later, like Olivia and Bosco. So I think it could be 3 episodes of fireworks, which we're all going to be here for. So, okay. Well, on that note, I'm only doing this because I have to go to work. But Roberto Mata, are you excited? Are you watching any other shows? Are you watching The Rehearsal or anything?
No, I think I'm going to watch. I did watch a couple of the episodes of Rehearsal. But
episode 3?
Out. No, I've only seen one. So why did I say a couple? I only meant one.
Nice. And I told my cousin this too, and I'll say this to everybody here. Episode 3 of The Rehearsal is one of the most cracked out things I've ever seen in my entire life. Where I even told him, I go, even if I spoiled it, you wouldn't understand the words coming out of my mouth. And then even if you did understand the words coming out of my mouth, when you watched it, it would still surpass what I spoiled. It is so fucking bizarre. I haven't watched the latest episode yet. Now, that said,
I've been meaning to watch Overcompensating because I've had like 3 or 4 friends text me saying, Robert, they stole your life story and put it on Amazon Prime.
For what?
It's a Benny drama who has been on the socials for quite a while doing comedy bits. He had a show where it's basically about a high school jock going to college and having to come to terms with his sexuality and getting involved in the gay scene.
And which character are you?
Well, I'm not the jock, but otherwise that was my show.
Just kidding. That's me just ending on a punch.
Nasty.
Also, really quick story. I'm going to plug my friend Chris's show, Murderbot, on Apple TV Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, one of the caregivers was watching it. And I asked her about it, but I didn't say anything because I was like, they're not going to fucking believe me. I'm fucking working at a goddamn memory care unit. You know, whether be like, oh, and you know the guy who made the show and you work here? I'm like, so I said nothing.
Why do you talk down on yourself so much?
Because I'm a fat pig who... Look. I was thinking about this. Where's this whole thing's going to start all over again? I was thinking about this.
You denigrate yourself so.
No, I'll tell you why. Like, there's clearly something wrong with me. And I know I joke about it. There's something wrong with me is that, like, these people that I get very close with and what I think do very nice things for, then all of a sudden decide... And I'm being honest. Maybe this makes me a narcissist. With maybe a couple, I get the reason why. But most of them, like, I don't understand why. What did I do that made it that this person who's done wonderful, nice things for you, you will never talk to him? You know that I'll even call this person out. Aiden's not talking to me right now. Whatever. It's fucking what season is it, right?
No, you said it.
Yeah. And so, but one of the things he told me last time, he's like, that he's constantly afraid I'm going to yell at him. Do you know that I yelled at him one time like 4 or 5 years ago?
People think that Latinos are always angry and ready to blow, so they think we're choleric and emotionally volatile. And then you prove the point, so now he thinks it.
He even admitted, I said, like, can you name a time? Like, I've been, because, you know, he's been sick. He had an illness. So that was 2 or 3 years ago. Ever since then, I've been only overly nice to him. Always understanding. Never yelling. That's what I'm saying. Like, so there's something wrong with me that I don't know what it is. I'm unaware. I have to do some research. I got to go to work. I got to go deal with people.
You should ask your residents.
I should, because you know what? Then I'm not even joking. 5 minutes, I not know what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.
You want the best for your child. K-12 can help them gain the skills they need to reach their full potential while giving you the support you need to get them there. K-12-powered schools are tuition-free, accredited online public schools for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. Their state-certified teachers make online learning interactive and engaging, allowing your child to learn at their pace from the safety of home. Join the more than 3 million families who have chosen K-12. Go to k12.com/podcast today to learn more. That's k12.com/podcast.